left.
The liberation of mutant kind has begun.
Welcome to the future.
Voice is clown.
Not clown, Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
Hawkeye, hands off.
Fool! Have you forgotten my invincible magnetic power?
Not this time, Magneto.
My mutant brain senses danger.
Something unseen is slowly spreading its poison, edging tempers.
Think carefully before you do this.
You filthy criminals.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pool List, and we have a little bit of a technical difficulty on this issue 108 of the show. Nate is currently working on trying to fix his camera, so while he's doing that, you will see my pretty face until we get something worked out. It may not work out, and we'll just see his illustrated head on the screen rather than just my face, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna blast through our business and then we'll get to the show. So as always, I don't have it on here. Let's see if I can pop it up. There it is. We've got our comic book sponsor, or our show sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games. It's our LCS here in the DFW area. They are our, the show's sponsor. So if you're ever in the DFW area, go and check out Collected Comics and Games. They have 2 locations, one in Keller and one in Fort Worth, and they're freaking awesome. We go to them both, and it's a silly goose fun time over there. But Collected Comics and Games, they have a website called brainycomics.com. So if you head on over to brainycomics.com, you will see that you can buy a myriad of things. And we really would love for y'all to go to brainycomics.com, do a little bit of shopping, if you will. They have exclusive and variant covers, which you see here on the front page, bundles, bad idea books, which we're in the second phase of, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, and games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards. And Nate's camera is up, but I'm going to finish business and then we'll get to that later. So after you do a little bit of shopping over there, you put some stuff in your cart. Before you do that, go up to that search bar right up there and type in Two Fat Guys Pool List and press enter. When you press enter, you will see something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and hold on. Wasn't quite ready. There it is. What will pop up is a Two Fat Guys Pool List upgrade, which is $8. And if you put that in your cart, you will get a mystery exclusive cover, like a book with either an exclusive or a variant cover in your cart, and whatever comes to your house, whatever's mailed to your house. Also, if you do the premium upgrade for $15, you get 2. Now, if you didn't notice, if you look at some of these prices, some of these variants are already like $10-15. So doing an $8 one, you're probably going to get a pretty decent, value there, right? But if you do the premium for $15, you're going to walk away with 2. Okay, and I'm not saying you're going to get one of these specifically. You might. You never know. But Ron does definitely like to pair these exclusives and or variants with what you pick out. So if you do an Alien book or an Independent book or a Spider-Man book or an X-Men book or a Superman book, he'll try to pair those variants and or exclusives with whatever you buy. So head on over to brainycomics.com, check it out, and help out our LCS here in the DFW area. It's a silly goose time. It's freaking awesome. All right, the other thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to bring in Nate here because now he's ready to go. So let's see here. Let me turn this off, and then I need to turn off the secondary logo. Let me grab it here. Where is it? Boop, 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 boop. And then I'm going to turn that off, so we only have one logo. All right, cool. Let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. So
everyone needs to see this square right.
Okay, get out of here.
Very
they
important.
can't. You can't see that square. You can see it, but they can't. Anyway.
No, I meant this portion of my screen is very important right here. Doesn't matter. Keep going.
Are you done?
We didn't watch Black Adam.
Yeah.
I don't foresee myself watching that.
If I can watch it on HBO Max, that's when I'm gonna watch it. We're in the middle of our sub giveaway, right? And we are at 732 subscriber guys. We are jumping right now. And we're trying to hit 750. And you know what we're giving away at 750. I know you want me to stop talking about it, but I'm not going to stop talking about it until we hit 750. And that's this 9.4 CGC graded Silver Surfer Black, issue number 1, second printing with Noel on the cover. Woo! One breath, right?
Whoa.
We got this, guys. We're getting real close. We're getting super close. 732. I think we can make it to next week. I mean, we jumped up like 15 subscribers since last show, which is really cool, or something like that. So let's hit it. 750 subscribers. We're giving this thing away live, and then we'll have an 850 and 950, and then y'all know the deal, the dealio. We'll be giving away this 9.8 CBCS graded Amazing Spider-Man number 4, original sin tie-in, first appearance of Silk. This is a real hot book. It's getting hotter. I'm sure when Spider-Verse, the second Spider-Verse movie comes out, I'm sure she'll be in it. So be ready, be prepared. It's coming. So that is it for the business. Nate has joined us. All is well. I'm super stoked. Let me adjust you here a little bit. So just, I'm going to move you around, Nate. So just don't freak out when I move you. Whoa. Okay. That was cheesy. Anyway, let's get to chat here. Oh, look, Lee's here. Lee's here.
Hello.
Hello, Lee. What's up, Lee? So let's see here.
Looks like the Black Adam reviews are exactly what I expected.
About a 5, pretty generic. It's The Rock. It's The Rock playing The Rock as Black Adam, and that's what I've heard. Again, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to post. I'm not going to give judgment, if you will. I will say I kind of saw that coming. It's the same critique that I had when they first announced Ben Affleck as Batman, and I saw Ben Affleck playing Batman as Ben Affleck. Like, I didn't see Bruce Wayne, and I think that's the same thing we're seeing here with The Rock. So that being said, I want to watch it. I just don't want to go to the theaters. So when it hits HBO Max, that's when I'll watch it. The only consistent good thing that I've heard about the movie is that Dr. Fate is fucking awesome, and I would say Dr. Fate is awesome. He's a very cool, very abstract character, and he's just
nothing about him.
I only know as much as my dad, because that's one of my dad's favorite comic book characters is Dr. Fate, because he's so abstract and he's very he's a wizard, he's but he's in more Egyptian style magic, if you will. He uses hieroglyphs and stuff like that. It's pretty dope. So I've heard good things about that, and that makes sense to me. Dr. Fate is a really cool character that I would love to see expanded on, especially with Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. That's fucking cool. He's a great actor. Anyway, is it better than Morbius? I'm sure it's better than Morbius. I heard Morbius was trash. I heard that was absolute trash. I feel like I'll wait for the movie to stream for sure, Patty. I think we're in the same boat. If you like terrible movies, fun movies it moved up. The Expendables, then you'll be okay. It's a story is bad, but the Justice Society are awesome. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I'm glad to hear the CGI was good.
That's why, you saw it in the trailer, it looked good. Dr. Fate is cool. Biggest problem was they focused too much on the action, not the character development. I think that's a consistent critique outside of Batman movies for Warner Brothers and DC is they just want to get, that was the problem with Justice League, right? And that was before the Snyder Cut, is when they put Whedon in. Literally the executives were like, just get them to be, get the Justice League together. And that's really hard to do when you don't, develop your characters. You don't build your characters. You don't tell the audience who these people are and why they matter. And I think that the DCU has that problem a lot. They want to get to the good stuff. And I think the one thing I will say is The Rock, he's saying the right things, right? At his pressers, he's saying, you know, we're not here out to beat Marvel. We're not out here to duplicate Marvel. We want to do our own thing. The problem is that everyone that's seeing the movie goes, this is a generic superhero movie. There's so many tropes and so many like literally screenshot for screenshots that look exactly like Marvel movies, and doing what Marvel movies do. So I don't know how you really achieve that. I think DC, I don't remember who I was having this conversation with. It was somebody probably at work. Oh, it was the creative producer at the company that I work for. He was like, I kind of want them just to make individual movies, and just because I think that's probably where you excel. Like you really can't recreate what Marvel has done. Like they caught lightning in a bottle at the perfect time, and now we're self-critiquing what they're currently doing, but they would have never gotten to that point if they weren't able to create what they did. And for anyone to kind of recreate it, they're just going to be saying, well, you're too late to the party. And is that unfair? Yes, but that's how the cookie crumbles, you know? Like that's just how it is. You know, I just there was another thing that I saw, I can't remember. It's that TikToker that you were talking about that does the movie reviews, the woman with the red hair.
Jay Stubes.
Yeah, she was talking about how she feels like it's a complete regression. You know, it's the cat's out of the bag. It got leaked. It was clearly a marketing ploy, but the end credit scene apparently, Henry Cavill returns as Superman. Okay, so sorry, spoilers. And so a lot of people are happy with it, and she's like, I personally don't like that. Not that I don't like him as Superman, but with all the drama that we know with WB and Discovery, you know, it's like they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. You can't. I think you have to reset. You know, like you have to reset everything. You know, if you want to start with Black Adam, fine, do it. I think that's great. But don't go back and be like, okay, we're bringing this person back. And we're bringing this person back. Oh, by the way, we're bringing this guy that's playing Flash that we're going to show this movie about. But the dude, I'm sorry, they're kind of shitty as a person. You know, like it's just they're surrounded in controversy. And I really do want DC. I want DC movies. I want them. You know, because that gets me excited to read other things, right? To read more material. But when I see these movies, I'm like, I don't know if the comics are going to be any better. And I made a comment on her video about how the DCEU is much like the continuity in current DC comics, right? It's constantly resetting, and we don't know what is and what isn't. We don't know what's in continuity and what isn't. And I feel like that's the way their comics are too, with our limited, understanding of DC comics, but that's how it feels. And I feel like a lot of people are saying that are DC fans. So we didn't have anything to talk about prior to our pull list, but I guess we did, or at least I did. But there's a lot of chat here, and I want to get to it. But let's see. Let's start with Joe. Dr. Fate is cool. Biggest problem was they focused too much in the action, not character. I said that. Second best Bond. Man of Steel was two tiers. Zod was great, and Superman. I genuinely liked the Superman, Henry Cavill Superman. Problem was the villain of the movie was needed. It should have been a conflict between the JSA and Black Adam. I thought that's what it was, and then I started seeing stuff on TikTok, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm very confused. So, I will watch it, but it seems weird. Joe, The Rock is a promoter, and he will do whatever to put butts in seats, even if he spoils the post-credit scene. Joe, the movie was pre-credit scene to the post-credit scene. This movie was a pre-credit. I get it. I see what you're saying. They made a Flash 2 script. What? No. DC needs to go more violent, R-rated, and a tad mature in story. They need to be counterbalanced for Marvel. I'd be cool with that. I mean, totally. I think the books are much more darker in that aspect outside of Superman. But all right, let's get to the show, shall we? So like we said last Tuesday, we are doing alphabetical order rather than straight with X-Men. So Nate, you're up with Alien issue number 2.
You didn't remind me of that.
Thawi, you were working on your camera.
Alien, Defenders. This. All right, got it.
Alien. So we didn't get to cover Alien #1 on the show. That was the week that we were sick and off. So just as a quick recap, basically what has happened is there's been a huge nuclear meltdown on a planet that could be potentially causing a entire sector of space where 1.5 billion people live essentially could die because they're going to lose the planet that provides them food, and there's not enough resources to allocate to them or push them somewhere else. So a group of recently self-retired synths are on a planet, and they're basically pulled back in by the not the US, but whatever the main group is on Earth. I can't remember. What do they call themselves? United Systems. They're basically trying to pull them back in and say, hey, on this planet Toru 9, there's this experimental thing that Wayland Yutani was doing, and it could help people survive in massive radiation. So like, we need you guys to go there, obviously, because your senses won't mess with you. We need you to go to this planet and retrieve it. Unfortunately, the planet was literally nuclear holocausted, like 100 nukes dropped all over the planet because xenomorphs ran wild on it, and they couldn't get it under control.
Okay.
And this was like their experimental planet where they were doing highly illegal like human research and all that kind of stuff. So that's the first issue. We find all that out, and essentially they agree to going on this mission because the United Systems is basically saying, we will recognize synths as citizens if you guys do this for us. It's that serious. And so this group of synths said, they think they're like, okay, we'll be the heroes of all synths. We'll get, citizenship for everybody. So in this issue, we are dropping down onto the planet, onto Tobbler 9, and it is a really, really fun. You could tell that they are straight up homaging the first 20 minutes of Aliens. Like, there's a scene that really reminds me of the. Oh shoot! What's the main funny guy from Aliens? I cannot remember. Bill Paxton. It very much homages like the scene of him like trying to be funny and then all of a sudden getting surprise attacked and stuff like that. So they go down to where they think this egg is that is supposed to be the key to everything, and it's gone. And they're like, yo, what the fuck? So they hear at one point one of the synths taps a pattern on the glass just because she's irritated, and that's like her way of like calming herself. And then they hear in another room something mimicking the tap, and they're like, how is that possible? There should be nothing organic living on this planet. It literally, like, the planet almost like death starred and crushed in half because they nuked it so much. They're like, there's no way anything organic is living on this planet. And they open a door and they find out that that's not true at all. Xenomorphs are doing just fine. And they start getting attacked by the dozens and dozens. Now, of course, these are combat synths. So we see xenomorphs go down in a way that we've seen before in the 3 arcs of Marvel that we've been doing so far. And these guys are just literally hacking alien heads off left and right, doing all kinds of shit until one of the most optimistic guy gets impaled through the chest, of course, classic alien style with the tail, and he survives. But the only way that he's able to survive is because at the last minute a group of humans that they didn't know about busts into the room with flamethrowers and kills what xenomorphs are there and make the rest run away because they're afraid of the fire. And it turns out that the big twist is somehow, some way, humans are still alive on this planet and thriving. Or not, I don't know about thriving, but they're still like,
they're alive.
Clearly alive. They're not like skeletons barely surviving. They are like in shape. They are of sound mind, and they are alive. And so obviously, since the egg is missing, you can make the connection that somehow they knew what it was and were able to implement the radioactive resistance on themselves. Anyway, this is just a really, really neat story. A lot of fun. More alien goodness. If you like alien stuff, I think you'll continue to like this. This takes place about 15 years after our last arc.
Okay.
Where the like religious pilgrimage planets essentially or get wasted, and that gets alluded to and talked about a few times in this these first 2 issues. But if you liked what Philip Kennedy Johnson was doing with the first 2 arcs, just pretend like this is arc 3. Not
all right. Calvin asks, mutant xenomorphs? Question mark.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Right. I mean, so there's some kind of adaptation going on just by the fact that they were able to survive whatever they shouldn't have.
Tony says, I like Alien. This arc seems fun. Rich, what up? Joe asks, I haven't been reading Alien, but the covers look like a video game. And the art in the is the art in the book as good as the covers?
I mean, no. So the art, like these covers, these covers are dynamite. These covers are really good. The first 2 arcs are Salvador LaRocca, so
right. Oops.
The aliens are great because he's a wonderful tracer. The human faces are all exactly the same.
Trash.
Salvador LaRocca is not on this one, and the interiors are considerably more non-realistic. This is a pretty darn realistic cover. The interiors are definitely not attempting to be realistic in any way, but I find them to be enjoyable and not a hindrance. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not top 5 Marvel art, but it's not bad.
Okay. What up, Jaden? Glad you're here. I'm glad you could make it. We are super excited for you to be here. All right, let's move on. Next up, we've got Avengers issue 61. I am pushing through, right? I'm going to see through Jason Aaron's this event that's actually teased at the end of this book. Issue 62 will be the end of his Avengers run, but we're going into his, all out Avengers or whatever the fuck it's called, or assemble, whatever. I don't even know. Anyway, the problem I have with this issue, it's not a bad issue. It's actually a really good issue. We're dealing with the Starbrand. The problem I have is we're dealing with the Starbrand at the second issue to the end of the book, right? We were given Starbrand it very early on, teased, and we've been working through it through the entire run. And then when we started this time travel thing, this thing comes out of nowhere. Like, we just shoved this pivotal storyline in here into this time travel thing. We get some explanation to why they're time traveling and how they're time traveling. And last we left the Starbrand, she aged up. Her powers made her aged up to like a teenager. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone's worried about it in this book. They're all worried about her aging up, so they don't want her to use her powers. Surprise, she does it in this book. She goes all out on Mephisto, and she ages out. She ages up to be literally an old woman, like 85 years old, almost 90 years old. It's clearly a lost storyline that we're just kind of shoving in here, and it's very important, I would assume, going into his event that's coming up. But this is sloppy as hell, dude. Like, this is just so sloppy. And what, the first 25, I'd say the first 45 issues were really fun. And I think we've said this before, like, this book, I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what it was. But whatever happened, this book got derailed very quickly. And obviously I want to see it through. I want to see how he ends it. And I think for me, the thing that I'm really looking forward to is to seeing who's going to write the next Avengers book. And what will it be like? And will it be as grandiose as Jason Aaron's Avengers, or will it be, just more straightforward kind of writing And is that something I want to read? I don't know. You know, do I want it to be as daring as Aaron's original like first 45 run? Yeah, kind of. But at the same time, like I don't know if we can do that right now. Like it might, you know, it might take time for this book to like cool down a little bit, and they're going to put some, you know, smaller writers or, you know, maybe hey, Al Ewing, right? Or has he already written an Avengers?
He has he's written Avengers a little.
Well, I don't know then. I don't know who you put this. I don't know who gets on Avengers after Jason Aaron's done. It feels like the person that jumps on the book that he did after he's done writing it. Maybe Donny Cates, but we don't know what's going on there. Huh?
It ain't gonna be Donny Cates.
It won't be, but I would really love to see Donny Cates on an Avengers book. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just because I think he's very good at doing very outlandish things that people are kind of scared to do, even though like Jason Aaron, you know, if you were to look at this cover, you're like, oh my god, this looks amazing, right? Like this looks fucking cool, but it's not. Like it's just not cool. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I again, we'll see it through, but I was very unimpressed and kind of disappointed that they Jason Aaron aged out Starbrand to the point where, like, I think in the next issue she's in, she's just gonna die because she's too old and you're frozen. I only get to chat earlier. Empire, I thought you guys dropped this a long time ago. Nate did. I stayed on it, and I'm sure I'll regret it, but I'm seeing it through. I'm gonna have the actual omnibus and floppies. Here we go. Tendu, this answered a lot of questions, but I'm still not banking or invested in the Avengers run or event. I'm right there with you, Tendu. Like I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it very begrudgingly. Joe, y'all think Marvel would be a do a crossover with other Marvel / Disney properties, Star Wars, Aliens, Predators, Mickey Mouse? I know they've been doing it with covers. Obviously, they're going to do some anniversary stuff with covers with Disney characters. But bringing them in, I guess if we're jumping into like multiverse talk, right? Like I could see maybe a book where like a page or two where all the Avengers or all the Marvel superhero characters are Disney characters. I could see that. But do I see them bringing them into actual continuity and like having an actual book? No, I don't.
No, they're not going to bring them into continuity, but I bet you they do. I bet you they're going to do crossover stuff like they're doing with like Fortnite now.
Oh yeah, maybe something like that. I could see Predator and maybe even Aliens in the Star Wars universe. I could see that. Like I could see like a mini maybe. I could kind of see that. Like Jedis versus Xenomorphs. I don't know. Or Mandalorians against Predators. Like I could see that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Batman Scooby-Doo does the crossovers all the time for kids. Haven't read Avengers or X-Force this week. Which dinosaur book is better? Definitely X-Force. This book, it's a Star brand. It's a Star brand T-Rex that they time travel to, and our Star brand and the Star brand share memories. This cover is a total red herring. There's nothing like this happens in the actual book, which is another reason why I'm disappointed. Joe, I'm ready for this multiverse Avengers war to get going already. Started on issue 50 and I've read one certain story now. It's all one shots building up. Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's get to it. Is the Avengers from 1000 BC on Earth 616? If so, I don't know if I like that because the original Avengers Assemble was fun. Yes, it is.
It's 100%.
69 Girls XYZ. Get the fuck out of here. Jaden, if you're here, can you ban that or get rid of that while we do this? Anyway, Tendu, Hickman handled the storyboard 1 million times better than this. For every storyboard, there needs to be a nightmare, which we don't have. Interesting. Bots, Attack of the Bots. Yeah, Jaden's assemble bots. Yeah, we got to get rid of it. Maybe, you know what? This is what happens when we start getting you know, we're getting bigger and getting more subs. We get bots, which I guess is a good thing, right? Like we should wear that as like a badge of honor, right?
Sure.
I'm just gonna time out the user and then ban him. Age 74. Put that person in timeout. Get out of here, bot.
Why is this not working?
Anyway, hello Starbrand, and my mom is online again. All right, well let's just push through this. Anyway, again, I'm not looking forward to, just kind of trudging along on this and ready to see where Marvel takes this after this whole event. And who knows, maybe Jason Aaron pulls it off. Maybe at the end we're all going to be going like, what? Why did we do that? You know, like maybe we're all wrong and he's got this master plan. But right now it is sloppy as fuck. Defenders Beyond, issue number 4. What did you think about this issue?
I said I loved it.
You loved it? I did too. And it makes me like want to reread 3 and like maybe I missed something, right? Because this one felt so much more fluid than issue 3. Say what?
No, you didn't miss anything. That's just how it is.
Okay. Well, this issue was cool. I really liked it. It really just showed like what what Ewing is obviously capable of, and telling a really good story and really doing a deep character dive on every one of these characters. I don't know. I thought it was really smart. And the artwork again is just absolutely fantastic. The paneling is great. The flow of this book was great. I love that we're potentially going to meet like Jack Kirby and Stan Lee in the next issue. At least that's how I kind of feel like we're going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Jack Kirby. I mean,
but I just liked, this brought me back. Like issue 3, I was like, oh shit, here we go. We're going down this road where I don't know what the fuck's going on. And in this one, it brought me back. It made me feel smart again. It made me kind of feel like I knew what was going on.
Yeah, I just think that the concepts that were being introduced were just a little bit easier. They weren't as complex. Our main little villain, it was very clear what he was trying to create, false realities that made our characters happy. Like it wasn't really complex what was being done here. But I also still felt like what was being done was worthwhile and made sense. I loved the the whole atmosphere of like the alternate reality of if Blue Marvel had never stopped being a hero and became president.
Yeah.
And then it's like all of them at a cookout with like Happy Galactus just out in the background waving.
The Lifebringer, yeah. That was pretty cool.
And then when of course we get my favorite panel of comics this entire week when the shadow breaks and she realizes that it's not, and you get that huge horror Galactus panel.
Zombie Galactus.
It's awesome.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know that I'm. Huh?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know that I particularly still understand what we're trying to do in this book. I just know that I read this book and had fun reading it and thought the art was like.
And that's the most important thing, right? Like, I think that's like the base level of what we want our comics to do. I like what Joe said. It feels like there's another Secret War coming. So we know that Hickman has a book coming soon, right? Like he has a book coming soon. And if I'm being absolutely honest, I would not be upset if we pulled, when did Secret Wars 2 come out? It was mid 8. No, I'm sorry. So there was the originals.
Oh, Secret Wars 2.
Yeah.
80.
Mid 80s, late 80s.
Yeah, 86, something like that.
So I would not be upset if that's where we're going, because I think we both were like, wouldn't it be badass if Hickman wrote a second Secret Wars to undo what was done in his original Secret Wars, which was to bring the Ultimate Universe into the 616, right? Or something like that.
Take it out.
Right. Take it out. I would, and we've had hints of that Ultimate Universe. Donny Cates did it in his Venom book. We were over there and we were like, oh shit, it's still around. It didn't get destroyed. So I honestly wouldn't not be. I'd actually encourage that because I know that we'd get a really good event. I mean, if we got an event that was co-written by Hickman and Al Ewing, fucking game over, dude. Like, let's go. And if it's Secret Wars 2, about it. Just about it. Because I would love, I don't know. I go back and forth with it because, right, we were just talking about DC and their continuity and how it's all over the fucking place. And I'm sure if we did that it would muddy the waters a bit. But I feel like we're in this kind of area right now where the comics can kind of do that, and we're already kind of doing that with the MCU, and some people like it and some people don't. That's fine. But man, that would be very cohesive, wouldn't you think? If we're getting ready to move in that direction anyway with the MCU, and if we were doing that in our comics and like just blow it up, let's have some fun. Like, I feel like we're already kind of having fun, but let's blow it up. I think that would be a lot of fun. But I don't know.
I'd be fine with it.
Back to it, Joe says, if Marvel writers did an IQ test, I bet Al Ewing would test high as hell. I feel stupid when I read his work at sometimes. Reddit bailed me out a few times in Immortal Hulk. I'm right there with you. That sounds like a Joshua Williamson doing with Dark Crisis. Yeah, but Dark Crisis, I guess you guys are right. But the thing is with Hickman in his original Secret Wars, he wasn't doing an event that happened in the 80s, right? Like when he did his Secret Wars, it wasn't like, remember Secret Wars, the original one?
No.
I mean,
yeah, yes and no.
I guess if you had read the original Secret Wars, you saw parallels, right? But if you were a new reader, if you were a new reader to Hickman's Secret Wars, you're just like, this is just fucking cool, right?
No,
I don't remember.
No, right. His Secret Wars didn't need you to understand any of what happened in the other Secret Wars for his event to function, because his event had totally different reasons for existing.
Right.
The whole point was to wipe out the Ultimate Universe. That was the whole reason why they did that, and start over with a new, technically rebooted 616, but
which
not with a new continuity.
I didn't even know that, right? And I read it and I was like, this is fucking awesome, right? We're currently reading Dark Crisis, and it's like, no.
But it was always designed for you to need to understand about the Crisis, though.
Right, and I just feel like that's one of the smart things that Marvel has done. So if we did a Hickman Secret Wars 2, I'm sure we would all fucking love it. You know, we'd all be like super jazzed about it, and we'd make a video about it. We'd get home early from work, and we'd be like, "Oh, Secret Wars!" You know, like that's what we would do. So I don't know. Calvin, leave Secret Wars alone. Big DC content reboot energy. Hickman's Secret Wars was I'm done.
Incursions.
It wasn't to merge Ultimate and 616. It was to destroy it all and start over. The Avengers run was fantastic. Gotcha. At the end, New York Comic Con, head of Marvel Comics said they want to rewrite the MCU 10 years in the future. I mean, I have mixed emotions about that statement because, one, I love my characters, right? But then I always have this constant thought in my brain as we're reading comics, not just Marvel, but DC. Independent, obviously not, because you can do whatever the fuck you want in independence. Is like when, like, let's take Batman, for instance, right? And I know we're about to go on a tangent. But take Batman, for instance. Like, the current game that just came out, Gotham Knights, right? In Gotham Knights, the reason why they're all fighting is because Bruce dies. Like, that's the beginning of the game. He dies. And I'm sitting there going like, wait a minute. So if we look at Bruce, right? So you got Dick Grayson, right? Then you get Babs. Then you get, I don't even know how many Robins there are. But when you read a comic, right? Let's just say Batman. I'm just using him as an example. And all these proteges that he has have grown up, right? Mm-hmm. In these books, but Bruce is still Bruce. Like, he's still Bruce. Like, when, like, the way it's written and the way he's drawn and the way the continuity kind of fits, it's like, oh, all these characters are older, right? They've grown up, but it still feels like Bruce is Bruce. That Bruce is still like what he was when he first picked up these kids off the street to become vigilantes. And in my brain, I'm like, wouldn't I love to see like a 10-year push where like maybe these characters don't exist, and let's just see what happens, because I feel like we need new shit sometimes. And like, oh, we've introduced a character and now like they're very young. And then 2 years later, now Batman is still his age, but this character is now 20 years old. Like it's weird to me. And I'm always wondering, like, what would it be like if we had a new Batman? And I'm not saying Batman. I'm just saying like a character like Batman that could push his own comic, aka Ghostmaker, right? Like Ghostmaker is Batman, right? Like he's got that same kind of, like, he's got the money. He's a little different. You know, he's not dark. He's wearing all white, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's clearly a Batman eccentric character, but it's a new version of that character. And what does DC do? What does DC do? They put him in a book called Batman Incorporated. And you're like, dude, just fucking drop Batman. Let's start a new character. Let's have some fun. See what they do. Maybe people like it, maybe they don't, but at least give it a shot. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
You clearly have opinions about this. It's just not going to happen though, because the name Batman is what sells books.
I know. I understand that, but you can never or let's take Ironheart for instance, right? Like in the movies, Ironheart is about to show up, right? Riri Williams is about to show up, and Iron Man is not there, right? And he'll never be there. Dude's dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the comics, like it happened this week in Iron Man, Riri shows up in Iron Man. Let's just get to it. Riri shows up in this issue of Iron Man, and she's an adult woman. She is a woman. She's an adult. She looks like an adult.
Sure, but that's just your interpretation based off of one artist's art.
I guess, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, I feel like in this instance, it's like, oh, these two characters coexist in this universe, and that's fine. But to me, it's like, let Riri be Riri, right? Like clearly she's a better Iron Man, or she's better at it than Stark, right? And I guess we get that kind of interaction in this book, right? Like, Tony Stark doesn't want to trust Riri, or he doesn't because she's too young, right? Or she's naive, and it's the power rings, and they're too powerful. And she's like, give me a fucking break, bro. Like, let me do me. Let me be a hero. And when I was reading it, I was like, you know, a year ago, she was in another book, right? That was dealing with the teens, with what was it called? The
Champions.
The Champions, right? And she was never in a situation like that. So we're kind of getting it in this book where she's in a much more adult, high-end risk situation, right? I want to see that. I want to see that with some of these other players where, yeah, I get it. Iron Man's going to sell books, right? Duh. You know, he's going to sell the book. But these other characters will never get their legs. They'll never get the legs with our generation or newer readers because they're not given the opportunity, you know? And like, that's what I want. And that's my frustration with Ghostmaker. It's like, get that fucking name Batman Incorporated off the book. Call it Ghostmaker. Let the dude have his legs. If it doesn't sell, fine, let it drop. But I think it will. He's a cool fucking character. Yeah, it's clearly difficult. It's clearly difficult, right? This is really hard because some people just want Batman. Some people just want Iron Man. I understand that, you know, but we'll never, like, we're always gonna have a Batman book. We're always going to have an Iron Man book, but we're never going to get anything new. That's kind of frustrating.
I mean, we do have things that are new, right? Like we have things that are,
Rush better? Nah, that's okay.
I mean, I don't know that we have a ton of them, but we have books that are centerfold that aren't your typical ones that are like Moon Knight, for instance. It's one of the top books right now, and he is not one of your A-list characters. I understand that he's not a legacy like spin-off character, but you know, Nightwing is performing extremely well. Superman, son of Kal-El, performed very well.
Yeah, Sorry, I created fire. Joe, Riri got on my nerves in this issue, and Riri isn't better than Stark. Stark built the God Killer suit that only cosmic gods can make. He is a flawed man, but when it comes to his toys, nobody can match. I'm sure. You know, I have no issues with Iron Man. I have no issues with Batman. I guess I'm in more of the context of at some point we have to break the mold, right? Like I feel like I don't know. I just feel like we have to break the mold at some point. That we have to introduce new characters, and they have to take flight, and they have to be given a proper allowance of time to say, you know what? No, this is my time. It's time for a new era of superheroes. And you know, if it runs for 5 years, fine. And then Marvel's like, all right, we're going back to the basics. Here comes Captain America, and fine, whatever. But to me, like, I think it's more prominent in my argument with Ghostmaker. I think, in my opinion, you know, because that's right now that's just on my nerves. Like, and that was last week, but it's so infuriating. Like, oh, we can't put Ghostmaker title on the book because half the Batman readers won't read it because it doesn't say Batman on it. Hey, guess what? Batman's not in the fucking book, right? It's a bunch of wannabe Batman.
Okay, we don't need to talk about Batman Incorporated.
Lee, where are you at?
What did you think about Iron
Man? Out of all of the issues that we've read outside of the Korvac arc, this was probably my favorite because it felt like Iron Man to me, right? It felt like it the whole situation. It was fluid. It read well. I liked that Riri was in it. You know, I wasn't like, fuck, it's Riri. You know, I was like, oh, sweet, she's in the book. And there was some, like, you know, old school, new school, right? There's what I'm talking about. And so I enjoyed it. I don't know. That's all I got to say about it.
I think Stefan put it best. The reason why this book was so good to me, and the reason why I felt, I think, like the Korvac issue, was the great interpersonal dialogue. Like the way that Cantwell writes dialogue and interpersonal relationships, I think is absolutely phenomenal. And that's one of the things that made the Korvac saga shine. Sure, all of the Korvac stuff was really interesting. I love the space battles, him getting cosmically endued and becoming a god. Like, all that stuff's super neat. But, like, really, the actual dialogue between the C-listers on the plane talking about God and whether he exists or not and what that means. Like, literally, you're having a clone, a gargoyle man, and like a toad dude discussing the intricacies of whether God exists or not and what that means. I think that's fucking amazing. And we had another glimpse of that in this issue. It doesn't feel like it's really going anywhere because we've got one more issue and then it's done with.
Right.
I wish I wish Cantwell had been given longer, because I feel like this arc, I feel like what I feel like is he had his Korvac thing, and then they told him, hey, you need to do a traditional arc, do traditional characters, something to do with money, maybe something to do with an addiction, make it normal Tony, and then you're good. And so I think he was a little hamstrung by that. But
oh, for sure. And like issue 25, we're gonna get, you know, the conclusion of his story, and then we're gonna go into like, oh, it's issue 25, so here's some other stories, and oh, this is what's gonna happen in Gary Jerry's issues. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Patty, I'm right there with you. Actually, you know, we have that problem with Valkyrie, right? Like, me and Nate are just like, all right, enough with the minis already. Let's have a Valkyrie book again because the minis are so good. So yeah, let's have a Riri Williams mini contest where we have one every 6 months and there's a new mini for Riri. Let's do that for Miss Marvel and like all the characters that don't necessarily have current limelight right now. Sure, I'm for it. You know, I'd really enjoy that, to say, because then you could get a taste for the character more, and if you get the right writer and you get the right artist, I think that's very important. You can do a really good job of convincing people like, oh shit, maybe there should be an ongoing Riri Williams book, or, you know, whoever, which is something we've advocated for Valkyrie. Like, she deserves her own book. We love, like, anytime a a Valkyrie mini gets announced, me and Nate are on it like that, and it's because we love the character so much. Because to his credit, Jason Aaron did a really good job writing his Valkyrie, and then Groenbeck took over, and she has been killing it just as much. So yeah. If you like Ghostmaker, you should have read Batman the Knight. Seeing Ghostmaker and Bruce train together in competitive was fun.
I'm just waiting for the hardcover to come out.
Right.
It was one of those that I was like, it's just not important to continuity right now. The list is too high, but it's fucking Chip Zdarsky. We're gonna read it. Yeah. I just need the trade to come out so I can read it all at once.
For sure. All right, Moon Knight, issue number 16.
Great.
What can I say? Good book. Great book. Amazing book. Love the setup. Love the opposite the opposite directions taken to get to the same point. Which did it better? Clearly Moon Knight. Because Hunter's Moon is getting fucked up. If not, he's already dead. So we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know, and I am not into vampires. I fucking hate them in storylines. And I loved this book. It's so much fun.
Well, one thing that I was very minorly frustrated about was, like, over the past 2 years, it feels like vampires have sort of been like it feels like at any given point, Jason Aaron and Benjamin Percy with Wolverine, and then Jed McKay with Moon Knight was just like, fuck vampires. And then it just felt like we had like these weird factions of vampires everywhere that didn't know about each other or weren't relegated or weren't related, and I was just like, this is too weird. And so I loved this issue where we finally got a cohesive understanding of like what's going on with the vampire world within the Marvel universe.
Right.
That you have essentially these factions that are, it kind of helps you understand factions, and then it helps you understand, hey, there's this dude in New York City, he's pushing to create a vampire nation that's just as big as what's going on at Chernobyl. And I was like, okay, this I can get behind a lot more. This is a lot more cohesive, and I was very happy we did that.
Yeah.
I also I'm glad that we're even though it was a little bit more limited in this issue, I'm enjoying the other personalities coming out and being involved as well.
For sure. I don't know if I can add anything to it, but this book was fun. Joe says, great book, but I don't know if I needed a full-blown conversation during the whole book. Moon Knight has lost a little steam, in my opinion. Hey, that's fair. That's totally fair.
All
right. Let's just do this quick. Donnie is sorely missed. I think this would have been an amazing issue if he wrote it. I think the moment that happens in this book would have been way more impactful if Donnie actually had written it. Excuse me. But clearly, he is a miss. Yeah, he is out, and so Ewing is picking up the slack, and I can't fault him for it. He's trying to write in, bits about his story with Venom. I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested in that. I'm interested in Donny Cates' Venom. I'm not interested in Al Ewing's. So I thought the idea that was being put together in this book, quite literally, was really cool. And there are two things that I would have loved to see and read. Donnie's version of how that would have happened, and Nick Klein doing it. Because I think if Nick Klein had shown Thor and Venom combining, it would have been dope. It would have been as cool as this fucking cover. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just very evident that they are both very sorely missed in this book. So I'm ready. Again, we're not going to have Donnie for a minute, and that's okay. Whatever's happening is happening, and I hope he, whatever he's going through, he gets through it, and that we get him back sooner than later.
Before we move on, I'm just going to say that we'll never know. But I actually think that this is exactly Donnie's version. I don't
think so.
Oh yeah, I don't think Ewing had anything to do with the scripting of this whatsoever. I think he just picked up storyboards and wrote dialogue.
Yeah, but to me, like there are certain instances in this book. Like, I think the demon version of Mjolnir was Donnie. I think combining Thor and Venom was Donnie, right? But then we morph into Ewing's story, which is this future version of Eddie who is trying to change history. That's not Donnie, though. That's a storyline from Al Ewing's Venom run. Like, it started off.
That was always the point of this issue, of these two issues.
I guess. I don't know. It didn't. Maybe it's the dialogue and the way it's written. Like, it doesn't sound like Donnie Cates. Maybe that's why it wasn't as impactful to me. And I'm not saying Ewing is a bad writer. We just gave him fucking praises. It's just I'm just not interested in his Venom run. And I think I don't know. I just feel like it would have been more impactful if Donnie had written it, like the story, like the actual dialogue, and then Nick Klein was on the book.
Oh yeah, see, Salvador LaRocca, I think, did unfortunately his best that he could on this, but it just felt like I was robbed of what could have been.
Right.
I'm curious how you feel about Donald Blake.
Oh, this whole like him controlling everything kind of thing.
Like the symbiote went and took him over.
I don't hate it. Like, I'm not like, oh, I fucking hate that.
Oh, because that's exactly how I feel.
Oh, okay. I don't
hate it.
No, I don't hate it. Do I like it? No. Like, I
don't want Donald Blake back again. I don't. We did it and it made sense and it was cool. Nope, leave him down there. Don't want to see him. And I especially don't want to see him as C-list stupid Venom character again. I'm so to me, I am so symbioted out that we could cancel Venom and Carnage for like a decade and I would be a happier human being for it.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you.
I'm just having another Venomized character to me. It's just like, oh god. I'm so done.
All right, well, let's all right, cool. Joe, yeah, Thor Hulk, now Thor Venom, all day Donnie Brainchild. For sure. Yeah, this would be a sick poster. I would definitely get that for sure. All right, let's move on to X. Where's Predator? Did I not put it in? Oh shit. Oh well.
What about the Crips? Did you read that?
I didn't get to it.
Okay.
Predator, fucking awesome. Love the storyline. Nate, you're missing out. The Predators are now they're hunting her because they're tracking her ship. Not only are they tracking her ship, they're tracking the company of the ship, and so they're killing anyone and everyone that's in that ship just to get to her. Fucking crazy. This book is amazing. And I had a thought.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll get in trouble for it.
I'm sure you will too.
Don't bring xenomorphs into it. Just let it be the story. Don't bring xenomorphs into it.
Oh, no, I agree. I think we need to go a few years before we start doing any sort of crossovers.
Just let this be. Just let it.
If I saw a Predator show up in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Aliens, I'd be super pissed right now.
You'd be pissed, right? And I just don't want to see it.
Pissed.
I don't want to see a face hugger. I don't want to see a xenomorph. I want this to be all Predator and this chick. I want to see her wield that armor. I want to see her wield the axe that she ends up getting back in this book. Do it, please. So, all right, X-Force issue number 33. This is the first Judgment Day tie-in, unfortunately, and it fucking spoils Judgment Day.
We'll talk about it.
I won't. So, anyway, Kraven turns the X room, the danger room, into a out-of-control, prehistoric, just absolutely balls to the wall, crazy, dangerous Jurassic period simulation. He's hunting Beast to essentially train so that when Wolverine enters the room, he can take out his ultimate prey. Great. Love it. Wolverine was dope in this book. This book was fun. Kraven bites off more than he can chew. And the group is going to continue being, the CIA, FBI version for the Krakoa, and I'm here for it. This is where Wolverine belongs. Don't give him his own book. Dinosaurs were dope in this book. Dinosaurs were dope in this book. You know why I think you would have loved this book, Nate? Kraven literally gets bit in half by a giant T-Rex. Just, bitch.
Oh,
yeah. Like when it happened, I literally went, oh shit. Like that's so. And then the last two pages spoil the outcome of Judgment Day. I don't think anybody really was surprised at that outcome, but it still fucking sucks. So, fuck you, Benjamin Percy, for doing that. I hate you. Why you didn't need to put that in the book? You did need to put. Oh yeah, and Deadpool is fucking amazing in this book. He makes this book. Anyway, wow, Nate's so passionate tonight.
Joe, that's what Cowboys W does to me. Okay, gets me excited.
Okay,
I don't care if it was against a 1-4 team.
Stefan? What was the bad opinion? Leave Donald Blake down there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. No. Okay. Good.
Not a bad option.
Yeah. Good. I love that. I'd never have been a symbiote fan. Venom was cool back when it started, but jumped off the train as soon as it spread. Yeah. I mean, Donny Cates's Venom is fucking awesome, though. I will say that. Didn't quite stick the landing, but the whole process was cool. Kraven versus Predator. Who wins? Predator. Predator, dude. Whatever. Deadpool injecting him injection from his vegan body had me dying. Yeah, dude. Baby Deadpool was fucking amazing. Toddler body Deadpool was fucking awesome in this book.
Oh,
Deadpool didn't do anything but brought comedy relief. His words. Yeah, no. I think he still deserves to be on the X-Force book purely for that. I think that makes it much more fun because it's such a serious book, and then you got Deadpool being like, "Who wants cream? Okay, no cream." You know, that's Deadpool. That's what we need. If you don't get that reference, I feel bad for you. All right, next up, let's talk about this fucking book, X-Men, issue number 16. Kudos. Let's just first get this out of the way. Kasara, welcome. Stick around. Don't go anywhere, please.
He gets one arc.
God damn it.
I don't know that for sure.
No, I'm sure you're right. You know, because it's something good. Like whenever something good happens, it's like, let's change it up. Anyway, this is my Marvel pick of the week.
That's Jim's pick of the week.
It's my Marvel pick of the week. I enjoyed it a lot. It's very evident that Gerry has notes from Hickman. You know, he's definitely picked up some notes from Hickman, and I just thought the world building in this, the deception in this felt like year one Krakoa, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it, and I thought the end of the book, I just didn't see that coming. You know, we were going in there for Darwin. He did. Like, he long did, right? And we find out the one thing that we're all worried about when it comes to Resurrection Protocol, right? The one thing is we can't have duplicates. Yeah. Oops. You know, like, oops. Major boo-boo. Major boo-boo. Mm-hmm. X-23 has been alive this entire time, and she has aged this entire time. Holy shit. Cover of the week, Absurdity 10 to 10. Yes, Stefan, you were totally correct. Tendu, I'm liking this X-Men arc, but I still think the Children of the Vault should have been an event. I agree there with you. It was a great twist at the end. I hope Darwin's big secret or fate is groundbreaking. I'm sure it will be. And I'm right there with you. This totally deserves to be an event because when you read it and they're talking about what they were doing in their own simulation, you're like, this would have been cool. Like, the Children of the Ark or of the Vault are, you know, if they aged like that, if they evolved like that, yeah, you have every fucking group of heroes banding together against this ultimate threat. And then again, this Caliban Krakoan suit. Now, I want your opinion on this, Nate, because I'm a little lost here. So the 3 mutant DNA that he has is Caliban, Mystique, and
I don't remember.
You don't remember, or it's not clear.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't remember. I don't know if it was made apparent and I missed it, or if it hasn't been made apparent yet. So y'all tell us if we missed it.
What if they dropped the ball in this arc? It's totally possible, Tendu, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Is it Sinister? Because they say, like, we all wear diamonds, and he's got a diamond headband, so there's something to that too, right?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
That's the only thing I'm unclear.
I don't know.
But I absolutely love this issue.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good. It was not what I was hoping for, and so when it was a big reveal, I was crazy. But it wasn't what I was hoping. So I had to get over my own expectations of what I wanted to happen.
What did you want?
I wanted it to be Darwin and us to have and what Tindu and I were both thinking the same thing, was that it was going to be pretty big groundbreaking thing. You know, Darwin's powers are still not at their upper limit, but he's been in here for how long now? Shit, after all this time, maybe they would have found something, and maybe he's going to be coming out a totally different, changed person. And so now that it's X-23, I'm not a crisis of 2 X-23s and what we're going to do with them. Doesn't sound super exciting to me, but that's just me. That's not like a critique I would say is bad. It just doesn't sound interesting to me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I did like the homage to Uncanny to Rich. Who else would know this? Stefan, maybe. Quaku, if you're here. Someone tell me what issue this is. Do you remember the one? It's homage to the Wolverine cover. Where he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. Never mind." I liked it. I liked that part. That's about it.
Okay. At first, I thought the person was Darwin, but his sex had changed. You know, I kind of had that thought too, but then you read the notes and was like, "No, that's X-23." Yep. I do hope this events of this arc ripple across the X-Men. I think it will. I think for some reason, Gerry is like, "Oh, hey, by the way, I'm gonna write a good X book again. Like, I'm not gonna write just like little events, like little mini issues. I'm gonna start like building the continuity back, which I'm super excited for. You know, I think if the question is though, is he going to be writing X-Men and Iron Man, or will he drop off of X-Men? That's the question, right? And who will it be? All right, we're jumping into DC. Before I jump in, Joe, do you have a halftime question for us, or do we just kind of roll on? Because you know you've been kind of a moderator in that, and I want to give you your space and your time. So I don't want to jump into DC.
Keep going if he has one.
What are you looking up?
The issue for that.
Gotcha. Wait, Rich goes, I wasn't fully listening, so I missed it. What? Okay. I do hope the event...
I asked him if he knew what issue that was.
I was like, what?
I don't think... I guess... Yeah, it is Bigger Ones or something. 205. I'm kidding. 205.
Gotcha. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but my... I'm literally going through the stages of me about to get sick. I started this podcast with kind of stuffy, and now I can like feel on a full-on cold coming, which really sucks.
Also, you literally already have gone back on the alphabetical order.
Have I?
World W? You think W's before N or G?
Okay, go to League, and what is the first in your sub? What is the first DC book?
Why would I care about that? That doesn't tell me what alphabetical order is.
Batman, Superman's World's Finest. That's how the book is alphabetized.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's not. It's World's Finest. But
okay, well, I didn't go back on it. I went based off of League, and League has got this book up in the alphabetical order as Batman, Superman, World's Finest. When you order it on Comic Book Hub, Batman, Superman is first in your pools for Friday's last call list.
You want to talk about this mid-issue?
What? I thought it was great.
Okay, that's why I said, do you want to talk about it? Because I thought it was just mid.
Why are you so... You should be happy today. Your fucking Cowboys won. And you're over here like, oh, this fucking...
Don't get your sour grapes.
I'm not...
Can't even be the backup for the worst team in the NFC.
I'm not. I would think you'd be in a better mood because your team is winning.
Yeah, winning against a team that's even worse than the one you lost to.
Okay, so why are you throwing grapes at me right now? Like,
you're eating sour grapes.
I'm not. I don't give two shits.
Because I don't care about Thunder Boy. I don't know why I care. Is that his name, Thunder Boy?
I don't know.
David.
But why are you so like?
I thought this was a good issue. I just am not. It's just like, okay. The art is fucking amazing. The writing is good. It flows very well. It's structured great. I think the humor is nice. I just, why do I care?
Because it's about to get. I don't know. We're gonna find out. You think Wade is just gonna like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna throw this in here so you don't have to give two shits. I don't know. I thought it was great. Again, 50% of this issue is Mora's artwork. I thought it was fantastic, but I thought the writing was good. I'm intrigued. I thought this was awesome. I actually do care about the kid because I want to see what kind of anomaly he is, if any. Maybe he isn't all that we can appear and see. Because at the end of the arc, it kind of is insinuated that he may have had something to do with what happened on his home Gotham. Like he may have fucked up somehow. So there's some underlying guilt there. And I don't know. Like I was never like, man, is this issue ever going to end? I wasn't either. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I actually really enjoy it. And then when Joker showed up, when it first popped up, I guess like my self-aware floating body version of myself that's watching me read this was like, Joker, right? And then I was like, shut the fuck up. This is awesome. And here's why. This book to me personifies what Justice League, if there were other characters in this book, should be like, right? Like to me, this would be an awesome Justice League book if the other characters are in it. I'd be like, fuck yeah, this is awesome, right? And when we were reading Justice League, it kind of felt like that at the beginning, and then it just got really weird, and we were like, yeah, this fucking sucks. So to me, this book personifies a silly goose time, yet still introducing new characters back in history that can pop up in current continuity. And I fucking love it, right? I just like seeing the other side of Superman in this book. I like seeing the other side of Batman in this book. I love seeing the dynamic between Robin and Supergirl in this book. Kid Flash in this book was hilarious with like, hey, well, if if the arrow hits me, are you gonna catch it before it blows up in my face? He's like, yeah, sure. Like, no, he just wants to see shit blow up. And I don't know, I liked it. Like it's my DC pick of the week. And not to say that the other two other DC books this week that we had weren't good, and they were really good. To me, this was just so much more fun. And I'll tell you why the other books, weren't. But they were still fantastic. But I genuinely liked it. I thought it was really good. And I understand what you're saying though. I
think and this is just me, and clearly not everyone is on the same page as me, but I don't find Thunderboy interesting as a character at all right now. Like he's literally exactly Superman. Like there's literally no difference between them. And okay, read that story before, not interested. He turns into a villain or becomes like a really cryptic, challenged anti-hero or something, and this is his origin. Cool. Okay, I will probably, understand these issues a little bit more. I'm just saying, right this very second, the excitement that I felt from that first arc is just not quite there for me. Okay. I would still put this as an A tier book. I would recommend it to anyone that is interested in DC Comics. To me it was A++ for 5 issues, and so now I'm just like, well, it's not quite that great, but still A.
I think we'll get back there, but I respect it. I respect
also, you automatically lose points when you don't put Batman in his awesome blue and gray suit at the beginning arc. So.
Tendu says, I love this series. World of Finest needs to be an animated series. It needs to be an animated series, and it needs to be anime style. I think would be dope. So, yeah, we'll see if he becomes a villain or not. I don't know how I feel about it either way. He does seem kind of basic, but if he does become a villain, dude will be crazy. I'm sure he will be. Rich, I like this series. I like how they are basically writing historical events in the style of the past today, including them in current events. I agree. Thunderboy is kind of stupid, but not exactly like Superman.
Not exactly. He's got different power sets, but okay, I mean, they're too similar.
GCPD, The Blue Wall, a late addition to the show.
I am shocked this is on the show.
Am I pushing a button or?
Oh, I mean, no.
Okay.
I didn't pick a pick of the week for each each.
I know exactly
company,
what your
so.
pick of the week is. Yeah, I know that, but
Anyway. So and when this book was solicited, I know one book I'm not touching with a 10-foot pole. And then reviews came out, and a lot of people whose comic opinions I respect were not just saying, "Oh, it was pretty good," or "Oh, it was different than I was expecting." It was, "This is great. You need to pick it up." And I was like, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting at all."
right.
So while I was in the shop, I picked it up. I didn't realize it was John Ridley writing it. And I'm kind of torn on his writing. I don't have a ton of experience with his writing. What I do have has been good and bad, because he wrote that volume, the most recent volume of Green Lantern, that had its highs and lows.
Yeah.
And he's writing the current Black Panther, which for us had its highs and lows, and ultimately we dropped it. But he's also written some things that have been reviewed well. So I was like, all right. Well, if enough people are getting into it, did you end up reading this?
Yes.
So this was exactly the opposite of what I thought it was. I thought this was going to be a borderline pandering book to conservative-minded individuals,
right?
And it turns out to be a borderline pandering book to liberal-minded individuals.
I say, yeah, not August.
I actually think that this book is a great example of what I want DC and Marvel to do more, and that's use these really, really rich environments and worlds that we know, and use them to tell stories that matter a little bit more than just superhero stories, interpersonal relationships very specifically. And I think we're doing a really good job, or this issue does a really good job of that. So in a nutshell, this book is basically about the police department, specifically following 3 cadets that just graduate the just graduating, just getting on their beat. One of them becomes a parole officer. One of them gets a beat in a really, really, really tough area and got a cushy one. This is somewhat politically charged in its basis. The girl that gets put in the typically the tourist area ends up in a situation where she has to pull a gun on a young black man, and is faced with whether he reaches into his pocket, and she's faced with whether she should fire her weapon or not, and she ultimately doesn't, and he just pulls out a phone to record her. And then she's like praised and lauded as this big hero, and she's like, "Yo, I'm just doing my job." And so there's like a lot of big ideas that are currently going on today, but I think that they fit perfectly within the story in the world of Gotham. Like they don't feel out of place. I can understand how someone would have a problem with putting these types of politics in a book that doesn't make sense, but all of these questions that we get put in this book are perfectly placed in Gotham. Like everything makes sense. And I just thought it was a really good, interesting story to tell in a place that we're familiar with, that didn't have to do with Batman punching Joker in the face, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll definitely be picking up the next issue. No surprise there. Has DC ever pandered to a conservative person? It's kidding me. I don't know. You might be right. They might not have. I wouldn't. If anything, when I said pandering, I meant it felt like it could have been insincere, which is just as irritating for anybody, right? Regardless of what side of the aisle that you're. But I do feel like this. I do feel like this was a pretty sincere issue that makes sense within the context of Gotham, and we can also make it make sense in the world.
Right.
I thought I did a really good job of not being uneven, unbalanced in its portrayal of what's going on. You see a lot of different. You see the commissioner pretty involved in this issue, and you see another high-ranking official involved, and you see the three cadets, and everyone's got their own pretty dramatic interpretations of how things should be. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. What did you think?
No, I liked it too. I really liked, what that one police officer that pulled the gun that didn't fire. Like, I just liked. I'm with you. Like, I like the story that it's set in Gotham, but Batman's not there, and we're just dealing with kind of like real people, which I really liked. Mm-hmm. And I liked that you could you were told their inner thoughts of like how they were feeling about the situation and how they were being propped up as this hero for doing the right thing. And like when I was reading, I was like, well, just do the right thing. You shouldn't be praised for doing, praised for doing your job. Like, I think I've had that thought too in like current day, like, hey, you did your job. Good job. Like, hey, you did your job. Keep fucking working. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting, but I did like it. When you said you wanted me to add it to the show, I was like, well, I got to read it now.
Yeah, there's enough people on Twitter that I respect their opinions on that I just was like, well, shit. I hadn't picked up my books yet, so I was like, well, I'm not.
Right. All right. Well, let's get to Jaden's halfway question, or not Jaden. I'm sorry, Joe. I apologize. And that is, he goes, since y'all have been reading both Marvel and DC, can y'all tell the difference in house styles of the two companies? Excuse me. I don't know. I guess
art-wise, yes.
Art-wise, yes.
Art-wise, I would say 100%. I could name you. I could feel like I could tell you what is considered house style and what is considered not.
Right.
Writing wise, I feel like DC maybe, because DC feels like it's still embracing the darker, grim, everything. It's raining all the time sort of atmosphere. I say that though with the acknowledgement that could be a bias based off of the books that I choose to read. I don't know if Marvel. I don't know if I could tell a Marvel house writing style. If anything, I would go so far as to say it feels like Marvel's house writing style right now is pointing towards reopening the multiverse and pointing to like obscure random continuity from like the 60s,
which I don't. I'm glad you said that, because I had this thought and I didn't know if we'd be able to diverge it to this. I feel like when DC does that, when they do these random things and they're like, this happened in the 60s, I'm like, it feels so random and so like, well, duh, you should know this, that I don't want to take the time to go look it up, right? But when Marvel does it, outside of Al Ewing, sometimes Al Ewing does this and I'm like, I ain't fucking doing that, like case in point is previous Defenders run. But for the most part, when Marvel does that, I feel like it's inviting enough to go find out more. Like, would you like to know more? And like you click the link and you go do it, right? Like that's how I feel when Marvel does it. And I'm sure some people don't like that, and there are other people that really do like that. But to me, when DC does it, I'm like, oh God, here's homework, right? But when Marvel does it, I'm like, oh, I'm genuinely interested to learn more. That's for me. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's kind of how I go about it, or how I feel about it.
I feel like I definitely feel a little different about it. Marvel's never had a reset, so anything in the past is still continuity.
Right.
Whereas in DC, I'm like, is that pre or post Crisis, and was that wiped out during Final or Infinite or Dark, or like what happened? And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, I do feel like there's a difference.
Yeah.
But I also think that's just because we're maybe a little bit.
Patty says, do we have a consistent artist or style for these comics? Like how Junior used to be the house artist or whatever, or is that subjective?
No, I mean, I would say that I don't know that Junior himself. Maybe he would have been. I think he would have been considered a small branch off, but maybe slightly included in in House Style in the '80s when he was first getting into it. But even at his most popular with like the JMS run and stuff, I don't know that I would consider him House Style. He was still popular. I mean, there are still really popular artists that are on these books that are not considered House Style.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I would say that the guys that are really considered House Style are haven't been on a consistent long run. You know, you've got Cassili, you've got Laraz, you've got RB Silva. So a lot of these guys haven't been on long runs. They've done some runs, but they usually.
Well, isn't RB on the Captain America with?
Sure, that's only been what we've had 5 or 6 issues.
Okay,
I didn't say. Yeah, RB Silva was also in. Was the ongoing artist on Fantastic Four. He only made it 7 or 8.
That was weird, yeah.
And he was pulled off. I don't think that had anything to do with him, but
yeah. Jane says, "Yeah, I agree. I think DC goes more for the feels, whereas Marvel goes more towards the imagination and expanding it, or something like that." No, I think you're right. All right, let's keep going. Nightwing 97 would have been my pick of the week. I thought this book was fantastic. I loved. There was an art change in the middle of it, which I don't know how I felt about that. I was like, wait, what happened? And then we jump back to it. I'm like, okay, that was weird. Loved this entire issue, and I don't have an issue with what a lot of people have issues with it, but I do have an issue with that. And the only issue is,
what the fuck did you just say?
What did I just say? Okay, so everybody has an issue with the end of the book, right? So if you haven't read it, mute us, come back until you've read it. But at the end of the issue, Babs and Dick are hiding out in one of Batman's like hideouts between, in the forest of Gotham. And they, bang, great. And they're trying to hide this guy because he's going to get hit by the mob. And when they leave, a car pulls up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the person in the car is Rick Grayson, which from my understanding was Dick Grayson, because he got shot in the head and lost his memories.
KG Beast.
Yeah, and so he turns into Rick Grayson, normal dude or whatever. I don't know is what he did, and so this car pulls up and Rick Grayson's in it. Well, Rick Grayson is Dick Grayson, so who's this Rick Grayson, right? Yep. And so everybody apparently hated Rick Grayson. I don't know. For me, the reason why I'm not like pushing the button for pick of the week is because, again, DC did this thing. Taylor did this thing where it's like, hey, here's this thing that everybody knows about, unless you're a new reader and you don't know about. And so then you try to look it up, and it's so fucking confusing reading all the articles about who Rick Grayson is that I have to ask somebody at my LCS and the owner of the comic book shop who the fuck Rick Grayson is to understand the ending of this book. So while everybody else is laughing, going, ha ha ha, I fucking hate this character, what's Tom Taylor gonna do? I'm going, ha ha ha, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, I don't know. I loved this book, and then you throw this here, and I'm like, right? And then they tell me, and then I'm like, okay, so is Dick hallucinating? Or
no, because Babs sees him too.
So Babs sees him too. So it's it would appear it would be multiversal fuckery, right? Multiversal fuckery.
Multiversal fuckery seems to be the most common thing, or just someone being an absolute dick. Yeah. So I thought it was funny. I like turned and I did not read that part of the run where he gets shot and is Rick for a while, so I don't I know everyone hated it, but I don't know why everyone hated it. I didn't start reading Nightwing until Taylor got on. I do remember him getting his memories back during because that's part of Tinian's run.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, dude, does everyone have an opinion about that short period of time when he was Rick?
Jaden goes, it was dumb as fuck.
That's what everyone says. I at this point I feel like I have to go back and read it now just to see what it was about.
Yeah.
And so that's actually why I will go the complete opposite and say I think it's great. I think the fact that Tom Taylor has the balls to go, what past continuity should I go to tell a story but also reward readers for reading? I'm going to go to the most hated thing ever and probably make some type of attempt to salvage it in some way. I think that's incredibly ballsy and hilarious, and I like it.
Nice.
Because of that, you can make this my DC pick.
What?
So it literally, and it's intriguing enough to make me, as a masochist and history lover, makes me want to go back on DCU those issues just to see why everyone is so fucking sensitive about it.
All right.
God, they are sensitive about it.
Let's see what happens. Come back, give us a report.
Joe, he gets his memories back during Joker War. Yes, for sure, Joker War. He doesn't get shot in Joker War. He gets his back because it's during the Joker War tie-ins in Nightwing that he is trying to Joker is trying to infiltrate his mind, and his mind is being so fucked around with that in an issue of Batman during Joker War he gets his memories back.
Nice. All right. Well, let's keep moving. We're jumping into our independents. I believe we only have 2. No, we have 3. But we start with Boom. And
you have a fancy one?
Say what?
Nothing.
What did you say? Nothing. You got a fancy one?
So do you? I don't know what the third one is.
Public domain.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So yeah, we've got Wind issue number 3. We're really getting in. We're really diving in, getting in. Okay, hit the button. Nate's actual pick of the week. And you know what? Okay, let's just do this. It's all the buttons. Because this is my independent pick of the week as well. Yeah, it was really good. We're diving real deep into this this conflict. This war that's spreading, and I'm digging it. I loved all the commentary. I loved the elves and them being so cutthroat. Not the elves, the fairies. Loved the interaction with the group when they were in the hot spring. Thought that was really fun. The character development, we're just, I'm loving the journey that these characters are going on. And I love that. I feel like I'm there, right there with them. So I'm digging it. And the ending was a bit of a twist, but not really. The cover kind of tells us what's going to happen, and I'm digging that too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I can say about this book anymore. That's not the same every single time it comes out. It just continues to be just as good.
Yeah,
the art is just as good every single time. It's, to me, it always feels like there's no other fantasy comic I've ever read that's made me feel more inside the world.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Last God, and that was it. This just makes me feel like I can see where this is at and what's going on.
Oh god, I gotta go blow my nose. I'll be right back. Sorry, I can't breathe.
Yeah, interpersonal relationships. I feel like we've talked about that a few times now, but that really is a big part of this issue. And I think that one of the things I really enjoy about how it tackles a lot of how do you say it? Maybe young coming of age type issues without them being so apparent. So at one point during this issue, they're all chilling out in a hot tub after being chilling out in a hot spring after they've been trapped on this ice mountain for so long, and they find out there's these little wild fairy kind of things in the water that technically, if they latch onto you, they can turn you into a wildling. but if you don't mess with them, they won't mess with you. But like we see the inherent bias in the prince when he like freaks the fuck out and jumps out of the water, and they're like, "Yo, like, does that, like, you know, like, what the heck? Like, you guys are freaks. I don't want to be a freak. I don't want that shit on me." And they're like, "Yo, like that, you're talking about like your possible boyfriend, man." And you're just like, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, you have fucking grass growing from your head. Like, what the hell?" It's just like,
So, yeah, I was like, dude, who wouldn't want a grass head, dude? Because then you just get like a pair of trimmers and zzz, you just mow the lawn.
Anyway, so just there's a lot of those type of like coming of age types things that are ingrained here that I don't think are as obviously apparent unless you're paying attention and kind of looking for them.
Joe, do you speak blasphemy? Are you saying that Nightwing is going to switch creative teams after 100?
There's no indication of that, but 101 hasn't been solicited. I would say that I would put money on it, and we're not getting maybe a writer change. I mean, an artist change for your Tom Taylor getting pulled off.
Can we not? Can we just end on a high note? Like, come on, Maximino, what up? All right, let's move on. We got from Image Comics the last issue of Chip Zdarsky's Public Domain. Did not go the way I thought it would go. I thought we would end with a bloody ending, but it's a happily ever after. Let's make comics. I don't know why I didn't see it coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, the family goes 100% in. They get backed by the kid that was buying comics off of the dad. He ends up being a guy that developed an app that made bukus of money. So he ends up investing in Dallas Comics, the family, and so they end up starting off anew and starting to write Domain Comics as a family. And then the other writer, this was what was funny, that I think is Chip kind of like again taking a shot at the current industry. A writer comes back from the 80s to write a new arc, and everybody in the office is like, "Great, well I better start packing my office because the storyline is going to go down the shitter and they're going to fire everybody because this person's writing the book." And I was like, damn, like Chip was shooting shots in this book for sure. So I think if there was anything like crazy and like narrative style, was him taking shots at like when old writers come back and they don't necessarily they throw their weight around the room more than they probably should, is what he kind of wrote in that book. So pretty crazy. Did you read this?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I couldn't tell. I just see your floating.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I remember I fell off after issue 2 and forgot to pick it up and never picked it up.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. It didn't end the way I thought it would. I thought it was going to be more like crazy, but it just didn't.
There's a second.
Second what?
There's going to be a second volume. Chip's already said there's going to be a second volume.
Okay. All right. Well,
this isn't for sure over.
Maybe they will, because I feel like there's some storylines that are just kind of like been left out in the ether. So we'll see how it goes.
Nightwing 74. Sorry that it took so long. I had to pull out my Joker saga trade. Nightwing 74 is when Rick gains his memories back and becomes Dick again, and he's fighting all of the Bat family. Crazy, and all of a sudden something jogs his memory, and that girl that's like the main antagonist while he's Rick is like, "Rick, are you okay?" And he throws down the crystal that's controlling his mind. He says, "It's not Rick, it's Dick."
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, let's get to our last book of the night, and that is The Silver Coin, issue number 15, The Spore, from Michael Walsh, who did the art and the writing. I don't know. It was a good issue, but it didn't feel as impactful as his previous wrap up issues for arcs. And I'm sure I think I know why, at least for me. Is what he said at the end, like, "Hey, I'm wrapping this up, about to have a kid. Peace. I'll be back. The book will be back."
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how it felt. Like I thought it was a good issue. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a really good issue. It just didn't feel as impactful. I think the middle book that he wrote, so issue 10, was I thought way better than this one.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
I get that. I get that for sure.
Like, I mean, it was good. Like, I liked what was achieved here. I like that this dude was basically coaxed into doing the bidding of the coin through his lifespan, and then once he was done, he realized that it doesn't, you know, he was never going to be rewarded because he was never really anything but a pawn, and it's pretty crazy.
I also like that the way that it ended with some kind of cliffhanger that there is a survivor to all this madness, like a pretty direct survivor. I mean, obviously, some of these people have gone on rampages and they haven't killed everyone ever, but like, I like that there was someone who was directly a victim of someone with the coin that survived. I think that's really the first time that we've seen that.
Yeah, for sure. And this guy's been all over the place, right? Like, he's actually been in our books, and then he's got multiple other people that he's fucked with that we see.
He appeared in 3 other issues before now, and then it turns out, you know, in the background of even more than that.
Yeah, so pretty crazy. You know, it was good again. And it's, you know, I'm sure we won't have this book for like a year. I bet, you know, we won't have it for a year rather than the 3-month or 6-month break, which kind of sucks. But when it comes back, I'm sure it'll come back stronger than ever, because Walsh even says, like, I have got tons more stories to tell within this little multiverse that I have here, and I'm ready for it. But yeah, it wasn't as impactful as issue 10. I thought issue 10 was probably the best one, where we got the explanation of the coin and how it came to be, and the witch and all that shit. I thought that was really fucking cool. So like, this one was a little less there.
Michael has already hinted that he's talked to Image collected editions department that they're working on a 1-volume hardcover. So I would say that if you are a hardcover that style, and you haven't read the series and you've liked our reviews, I will be buying that day one. Even though I have all 15 issues, having an oversized hardcover version of this,
and I'm not overtly horror, and I would buy it. And I have to read this shit when it's dark, like when it's right outside. It freaks me the fuck out. But it's super fun.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for episode/issue 108 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us Live here on YouTube. As always, we appreciate every single one of you that shows up to watch us live, and every single one of you that watches this as a past episode. We say it every time. We could be just two dudes talking on the internet and nobody could be listening. We'd still be doing it. But the fact that y'all show up and watch and listen to our stupid opinions means a lot to us. It really does. You know, like, we turned our hobby, which it still is to us, is reading comics and then talking about them online. But we've just turned it into something more. And we wanted to generate and build a community here on YouTube that a lot of other people have. And we just wanted to be part of the fun and talk comics with people online. And you guys give us that opportunity every Sunday and Tuesday. So we can't say it enough. We appreciate every single one of y'all for coming out and listening to us. As always, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a like, and we will catch you guys this Tuesday with a new comic book day video. It's I don't know if it's slim pickings, because I looked at your pool, Nate, and you actually have way more books than I do, but we'll have to kind of whittle that down. I've got a very slim pool, and I'll end up probably pulling some of the books that you're pulling. But we will have a new comic books day video for that, and then obviously we'll be back live next Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, again, to talk about those books, and then anything else interesting that might pop up, or whatever movie that y'all want us to go see that we didn't go see, but we still have hot takes on it. Anyway, be kind to one another, read more comics, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, guys. Super late, but later. Bye, Jaden. We didn't read Crypt of Shadows, and we need to. I have it literally sitting here. I just didn't get to it. I boo-booed. I'm sorry. They're making a Geiger show? Oh, I gotta pull that thing out. I need to put it in
you gotta sell that shit.
Gotta put that in a Mylar. All right, guys. We'll see you later.
See you.